I'm always delighted to be with Saul News. This has been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for October 31st, 2025. The Daily Caller reports, Thune goes on offense after Democrats block reopening government for 13th time. Senate Majority Leader John Thune erupted on the Senate floor Thursday after Democrats blocked yet another attempt to pass a clean funding bill to reopen the federal government. Senate Democrats refused a 13th attempt to reopen the government earlier, leaving more than 40 million Americans at risk of losing food aid as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program funding is set to lapse November 1st. Senator Thune said Senate Democrats are prolonging the standoff to preserve political leverage and tie budget negotiations to unrelated programs.
And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about. And you all have just figured out, 29 days in, that, there might be some consequences. There are people who run out of money. Yeah, we're 29 days in. And they've done their best to make sure that a lot of these programs are funded. But at some point, the government runs out of money. 13 times, people over here voted to fund SNAP. 13 times they voted to fund WIC.
Republican Louisiana Senator John Kennedy previously said Democrats are demanding the return of millions in foreign project funding before they agree to reopen the government, calling it proof that their priorities lie anywhere but with the American people. Just the News reports, more than 160 Republicans potentially investigated in FBI's Arctic frost probe. The GOP-led House Judiciary Committee disclosed Tuesday that more than 160 Republicans, including many closely connected to President Donald Trump, were targeted for possible investigation during the Biden Justice Department's Arctic frost investigation. The committee tweeted that recently reviewed documents show the Arctic frost investigation appears more wide-ranging than initially believed in Biden's DOJ's effort to take down President Trump and his supporters. The nearly 200 pages of documents provide new insights into the sweeping investigation aimed at former President Trump and his supporters, which was launched by the Federal Bureau of Investigation under then-Director Chris Wray and later picked up by former DOJ Special Counsel Jack Smith under then-Attorney General Merrick Garland. Recently declassified revelations related to Arctic frost chronicle the 2022 lawfare assault against then-former President Trump and supporters as criminal inquiries, which would soon lead to criminal charges, spun into high gear as Trump leaned toward running for president again. Arctic frost also targeted dozens of GOP officials and organizations, according to documents released earlier this year. The recent revelation that the FBI snooped on the phone records of Republican members of Congress during its January 6th investigation is bringing greater scrutiny to Wray and Smith. And finally, Politico reports, Vance dodges premature talks of 2028, but keeps options open. Vice President JD Vance brushed off murmurs of a 2028 presidential run alongside Secretary of State Marco Rubio as the early jockeying to succeed President Donald Trump as head of the Republican Party gets underway. In a podcast interview with the New York Post's Podforce One, released Wednesday, Vance dismissed the idea of a presidential bid as premature but suggested he'd be open to the plan later in his term. Vance said in the interview, quote, "My attitude is the American people elected me to be vice president. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make the president successful over the next 3 years and 3 months. And if we get to a point where something else is in the offer, let's handle it then." President Trump has yet to specify which of his administration officials would be his preferred front-runner on the hypothetical 2028 ticket. But Vance said the idea has placed no tension on his relationship with Rubio, whom he described as his best friend in the administration. And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for October 31st, 2025. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.